Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist podcast, now with Digitant podcast. How's it going, guys? I hope you are having a great week. For a lot of us, at least here in LA, we are, what's?
Too loud.
Too loud for you? No.
I don't like this out.
Listen, I have to talk. It's a podcast. That's the point.
Too loud.
It's too loud? Okay, well, I'm just going to keep on going so I can be done soon, all right? Okay, my friends. It's mid-August and it's back to school. So my kiddo's not yet doing that soon though, and will be soon. Lots of friends giving their kids off to the teachers in tearful goodbyes. Lots of crying, or for some parents, lots of excitement. So I hope you guys are doing well out there with back to school. And if it's not this week, it's potentially the next 2 weeks, right? All right, what's going on with Wrap Your Head Around Silks? Roll it out, you guys. This is becoming, it is slowly becoming such an important thing in my life. Too much talking. Would you like to say hello to the listeners?
I think your thing is gonna die soon.
Oh, yes, my computer says low battery. You're so smart, Bean. Should I go plug it in?
Yeah.
Okay, can I do this first?
You gotta plug it in now.
Okay, let me do it really quick because I'm just going to introduce our guest.
Well, I think it's gonna die really quick, and you need to plug it.
Okay, can you just let me do it?
You had to plug right.
I know, but I'm gonna do it, and then I'll plug it in literally 2 minutes from now. Okay?
Fine.
Okay, fine, cool. Roll it out's slowly becoming such an important thing in my life because without it, the weeks that I don't end up teaching, either people are busy or whatever, I'm in pain. So you guys, yesterday we actually worked on one of my clients. She had a headache. So I was like, okay, we're going to work on Osula. Osula had a headache. And so we worked on the fascia bundles right above the ears. We did head massage on ourselves. And then I showed them how to, roll out the jaw, which actually gets really, really tight because we're doing all those pull-ups and like the entire front of the neck into the chest, into the rib cage, always super tight. So also check out the website. There's a lot of free stuff for you guys there. All right. Today we have...
Mom, you're taking long.
I'm taking so long. Well, you're...
Mom, it's gonna die soon if you not plug it.
Okay, but I just need to introduce Jessica, and then we can plug it in, okay?
But you're gonna forget.
No, I'm not gonna forget. All right, this is Jessica Peterson. She is the owner of Matrescence, Occupational Therapy based in Austin, Texas. And she decided to niche down and really help women right after birth. She does home visits, she does consultations, finds out and gets to the meat of what women really need in that fourth trimester. So she's also a circus person. She's an aerialist. She's a juggler. We have friends in common. We have a ball talking. So I can't wait for you guys to hear this. Let's get started. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. You fit this podcast like a glove.
Yeah. I've been listening to it, I think, for almost a year. But I was like, what is this? This is amazing. It's my niche inside a niche.
It's a nichiest niche that a niche could dream to have. It's like, how much can you get specific? Well, we're doing it here. So listeners, Jessica reached out to me, and she is like everything for this podcast. So Jessica, if you'd introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I'd like to go back and start where you wrote me about and how you found circus. But yeah, introduce yourself. If I ever mute myself, that's because Bean's making some noise and I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm still listening.
Sounds good. Yeah. So I am Jessica Peterson. I am an occupational therapist and a mom of 2 little girls. They are now 5 and 7, which is incredible looking back at this whole journey. I was born and raised in California in the San Bernardino Mountains. there wasn't a lot to do. And I was perfectly content with that. But my little sister, who's 4 years younger, she was like always doing all the sports. So she was doing gymnastics, and she had to go what we call down the hill for that. And then the gymnastics closed, and they had to find something else to do, her friend and her. And so they went over to Redlands, which is an hour drive from us. And I don't know if you know this, but they have the YMCA there has a youth circus program. And they start with kids as young as like 4 and go all the way up through high school and beyond and teach these kids all of these circus skills. It's incredible. And they have a show every year. So anyways, that is how I kind of got into the circus world, was like watching her do this from like, I think it was middle school on. She got super, super into it. And so as part of that, like our family, it's in California. So there's juggling festivals all over the place all the time. And juggling was one of the skills that she learned. And so we would go as a family, especially to Santa Barbara. They had one, we'd go camping in Santa Barbara, attend the Isla Vista Juggling Festival. And so I basically grew up through high school knowing all of these jugglers and aerialists and circus people. And that was amazing.
Did you get involved yet? Did you get involved at that time? Were you taking class too?
So when I was in high school, it was just like a place to hang out, like during these festivals. We'd go like during spring break, especially. There was 2. There was Isla Vista, and then there was one called Nomadic, which I think was like in the summer, and it like traveled around to cities in California. So like I learned to unicycle during a juggling festival, and I sort of learned to juggle, but I'm not the most coordinated person ever. And so fast forward, I went to college in Riverside, at UC Riverside, and they had a juggling club there. And so I was like, okay, I know jugglers. And so it was because of that I actually learned how to juggle, because I would just like go to juggling club twice a week in college and just stand around and learn. Otherwise, I never would have. That's also how I learned how to really unicycle, because I had to I unicycled from class to class.
Oh my God. And then you met your husband through this in college?
Yes. So in college, I went to a juggling festival in Las Vegas. And oh gosh, you know what? It might have been like very, very early college, because my sister was only 13 at the time. Actually, she met him in Las Vegas when she was 13 at a juggling festival. And then several years later, I went to one with, coincidentally, my ex-boyfriend. We had just broken up, but had decided to go this juggling festival before we broke up. And so we went to this juggling festival. I was like, I do not want to hang out with my ex-boyfriend. Who do I know? So my sister had introduced me to this other juggler, Nathan. And so I went and I found him and we hung out, and yeah, the rest is history. He was living in Austin, Texas at the time, and I was still in California, like finishing college. So that's a whole nother other story. We dated long distance for like 4 years as I finished college and then grad school.
Oh my God. You have a longer circus history than I do, because I only started when I was 30.
Oh, really? Wow. I mean, yeah. I feel like I dabbled. Yeah. It was like dabble circus, mostly juggling. And then at some point I was like, wait a second, why am I juggling? This is not, I don't even like doing this. But the aerialist, that looks fun, because I tried cheerleading in middle school because I wanted to do the stunting. But they wouldn't let me do it because there were other girls that were doing like the flying. I was like, well, this sucks. And I hated like all of the actual like choreography, but I wanted to be up in the air. And so when I found aerials, I was like, oh, this is how I can get up in the air. And so, yeah. And so I started actually during college. My sister bought me some classes. I think they were in, gosh, my word, they were in Redlands, I think. There were some of those Redlands YMCA circus people.
Oh my God. So what year was that?
So that was, oh gosh. Okay. So I went to college in 2005 through 2009. So that must have been like 2007 or so. And so some of the circus aerialists, they would go to the juggling festival. So I don't know if you know Rob Kreitz or Jack and Jerry Calvin.
I know Jack and Jerry very well. The first one I don't, but Jack and Jerry are, that's where I first started training, and I teach there now at their house.
Oh, you teach at their house? Oh my gosh, how did I not know this?
I see them, I mention them here and there, but I see them twice a week on rotation. Yeah, they're my longest circus family, actually.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So Jack and Jerry, actually, they were the like first parents that I saw like doing circus and aerials and parenting, because they like would bring, I think it was Max at the time, was a little tiny baby.
Yeah.
They'd bring him to the festivals.
And he's 17 now.
Yeah.
Almost
Crazy.
18, that
and
kid.
they would do the hand balancing. Oh my gosh, they always do that. And so as soon as we had our babies, my husband, like I think my older daughter, who's now 7, she was like 2 weeks old. He was like hand balancing.
So you've been in my circles. I just haven't met you. Did you? I mean, you don't live here in LA anymore, but did you used to spend a lot of time with them at JJ's?
Just during juggling festivals, I have been to their gym a couple times, but not for like a long time, because I moved out of California when so I went to grad school for occupational therapy in 2009 in San Jose. And then in 2011, I graduated and I moved to Austin, where my husband is living or was living. And now we've been there ever since. So I haven't been kind of like in the like California circus arts world, and definitely not in like the aerials world, because I kind of started aerials here more.
And are you at like the school that everybody goes to, Sky Candy?
Oh yeah, Sky Candy. I started Sky Candy when it was like this little, like a few people in a it was like a plane rig, like, what am I trying to say? Word finding problems. Where they like have the airplanes go and they store them. They had
okay, a hangar. It's a hangar.
Thank you. They had like a few rig points in this hangar, and there was no air conditioning. I took my very first class in Austin at Sky Candy before they even had a studio, and now they're 2 or 3 studios after that, and they're amazing. And Winnie, the owner, is just doing great things. So yeah.
Is it a small enough community that everyone who takes class there you've seen or know, or is it bigger than that?
It's like sort of apparatus specific. So like, the people that do your apparatus, but also like I'm in even like a nichier group, because I take classes during the day. So the people that take classes during the day are like parents, or they have like jobs that are flexible. And I've been taking trapeze classes there now for, oh my gosh, I think like 8 years. And it's just kind of the same group of people, and we just sort of like rotate and hang.
So dance trap is your jam.
It's mostly just like static trapeze, dual points, single point. I can sort of do. But see, the dance part, the choreography part, is the part that's hard for me.
Okay. So I just had at Womack and Bowman, the great thing about working there is over the summer, like we get like everybody coming into town, if it's a week, if it's the whole summer. So I have a couple people coming in who live in Austin and train during the year at Sky Candy. They're Silks people though, so I don't know if you'd know them.
I might. I started in Silks.
It's really fun, but it wasn't like that for the 3 years after pandemic, because people, it started to build up now. It's building back up. This is our first real summer again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Between that and the podcast, my worldwide aerial tribe is my aerial life is exploding, because I get to do this podcast, because I do the podcast, I should say. But okay, so Jessica, tell me a little bit about your business, because I think that it would be really helpful to the listeners, and we're going to talk about how you came upon it, the idea, and then maybe some advice for the ladies out there.
Yeah, totally. So I'll start with, defining what occupational therapy is, because sometimes that is a nefarious term. People are like, what? So occupational therapy is actually a healthcare professional that helps people engage in occupations, which are any activity that occupies your time in a meaningful way to you, and usually after like a life change or a challenge. So that can include recovery, development, disability, and in maternal health, which is like the health of mothers, that includes preconception, pregnancy, postpartum, and beyond. Because if we're looking at motherhood as a developmental stage, we're going through all of the body and brain changes that you would with, like, if you compare it to adolescence, for example. So my business is called Matrescence Occupational Therapy. And matrescence is a word that is similar to adolescence, but for mothers. So with adolescence, your body and your brain and your roles and your routines, everything in your life is changing rapidly because you're going through all of these transitions. And it's the same for motherhood. Even mothers who did not go through pregnancy, there's still all of these changes in your roles, your routines, your life, and your occupations, the things that you do during the day. So occupational therapists are really the very like perfect holistic professionals to kind of help with some of the challenges that come up with motherhood. And during the pandemic where this all started, I and so many moms that I knew were basically trapped in their houses with kids. And during that time, I couldn't work as an occupational therapist because I was working in the hospital, but not full time. And so I was there at home and going crazy. And I was thinking, this must be happening to every mom that there ever is in this world, because we're taking on so many roles during the pandemic. We're teaching our children. We have them all day long, so they're not going to daycare. We are not able to do some of the other things that are meaningful to us, such as work or leisure, socialization, because we're like all here together with our kids. So that personally got me thinking about like, how does my role as an occupational therapist like fit together with what's going on with mothers specifically in the pandemic? And so that kind of led me to actually go back to school. So I am currently pursuing my post-professional doctorate at Boston University, and I'll be done in August. And so basically doing my doctorate, I started like thinking about different things that I could do with this, because I really wanted to just kind of like change the trajectory of my career, because I had been working in the medical model in the hospital for basically 8 years while I had my kids. And I kind of felt disconnected from my profession. And so I had a colleague at work who had recently had her first child. And we just started kind of talking about how hard motherhood is and what occupational therapists could be doing in this space. And we decided to just start a private practice, which is kind of bonkers, kind of crazy, but you know, there was nothing really stopping us. And so when we started the business, we thought, well, we're going to do group classes for moms and sort of educate them on all of these different things that OTs know that moms need to know. So like, what does that examples are like physical and mental changes during pregnancy, physical and mental changes postpartum, and how to kind of manage those things. Like, I don't know if you've heard of mommy thumb, but there's this like basically inflammation that happens in your tendons when you're holding a baby with your thumb out, like constantly. And this weight is like pushing on your thumb. And so that causes people a lot of pain and discomfort. But what are you going to do? You still have to hold your baby. You still have to breastfeed. You have to hold your flanges, all of those things, but you're having a lot of pain and discomfort. So occupational therapists can help pain management during those sorts of tasks, but they're like mother specific tasks. So we thought anyways that we provide some education in a group setting. And we quickly learned that the market is saturated with mom and baby classes. There's a whole lot, and we don't necessarily stand out because people don't know who occupational therapists are, especially in like the mom space. So what we do, what our current model is we actually see moms in their homes, and we do like individualized practice. So oftentimes people come to us because they're having like stress or concerns supporting their baby's development, or they're having issues with infant feeding. And we are unique in that we actually come into the home and we work with mom and baby and their entire support system. So whoever is actually involved in supporting that mom and baby, so that might be a partner, it might be a grandparent. We provide education and training to them to help with whatever is coming up. So sometimes it's breast or bottle feeding. You know, I have, and my colleague also have specialized training in breastfeeding and postpartum support. Infant or mom sleep. We also work with maternal mental health is a big one. We have specialty training on perinatal mental health care. So focusing on educating moms about what perinatal mental health concerns could look like with depression or with postpartum psychosis, anxiety, things like that. And we are able to screen for those things. So we basically can come in and we can look at a whole bunch of different problems with the focus on the experience of the mom. And that's pretty unique, we think.
Oh, yeah. And you are still your practice is in the Austin area.
It is. So we see people in the greater Austin area. And then we also have started doing some telehealth with clients who are in the state of Texas, because that is where our license allows us to practice.
So are you doing a PhD online?
I'm doing a doctorate online, yes. And it's a little bit different than a PhD. It's shorter. So it's 2 years. And it's not so research based. So it's basically, it's project based.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I am sure that happens a lot, but all the people that I know that are getting doctorates are not doing it online. And I live in California, so there's a lot of universities here.
Oh, yeah.
How is that?
How is it doing it online?
Yeah.
So it's actually really cool. It makes it a possibility. Like I said, I started during COVID, so a lot of universities won't even open. And at Boston University, this particular program has been 100% online for the history of it, like 14 years. So they actually had it like down pat. This was their regular thing. And I have classmates from all over the world. And that's like,
oh, that's so cool.
Very, very cool. It's also designed it's a post-professional program. So every person in this program is already a practicing occupational therapist and are usually going to school around their full-time jobs. So it's super flexible that way as well.
What a tribe you must be developing there. That must be really cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, and hard. But you're also starting a business and getting your doctorate at the same time, and you have 2 girls. Wow.
It's a crazy time, but it's really so much fun because I spent a long time, the first 8 years of my girls' lives, I spent, in pregnancy and early motherhood, and that's really hard mentally and physically. And it's hard people like you that are doing like businesses and podcasts and have like 2 and 3 year olds, I'm like, oh my gosh. You are doing amazing, incredible work because it's so hard to focus. It's like, when we talk about, as occupational therapists, we look a lot at the environment, and a lot of early motherhood is like this sensory overload. where you've got like,
Yeah.
kiddos touching you and kiddos calling your name and pulling on your leg and like needing you for all this stuff. And that's so wonderful and all, but it gets to you. It's like it's a lot. So sometimes, it's good to have something else that you can focus on and put your energy on that's meaningful to you.
I feel like my brain doesn't work half the time anymore. Like it's real. And my partner, I have to remind him. He's like, how could you miss that? I was like, what do you mean? How could I miss that? I've got this creature crawling on me 24/7, needing me. And I have one. I have many friends, and now friends to the podcast that have multiple. And I don't even know how the brain even learns how to juggle after one, because at least I can scoop her up. It's contained.
Right.
Like it's contained. Whereas you have more than one and it's like just ants around you and you can't find where they're going. I don't even understand. But so, yeah, so let's give you a kind of an example of a mom. Let's just say you have a mom who is home. She is showing signs of postpartum depression. She can't get her baby to latch. She is sleep deprived. I mean, that is very common, right? Those three things together.
Yep.
How would you go in there and try to help her?
Yeah. So the first thing that we do is an evaluation, and that is about 90 minutes. We do that in the home, and we do what's called an occupational profile. And that's a huge part of what occupational therapists do to sort of start figuring out how they're going to solve problems with the client. And so that is essentially a really long interview talking about her history with pregnancy, her history with birth, her history with her child's development, and then how things are going for her. And the nice thing about us being right there in the home is that we can actually see what's going on. So with that mom, for example, maybe she's having trouble with the latch and she is trying to nurse like on a couch or over a bed or something that's like not really supporting her body or the baby's body. And so we really look at those environmental factors first and kind of figure out, okay, what's working for you with latch and nursing, what's not working for you. And then with the mental health symptoms, we do a screening to see if those symptoms are actually aligned with we call them PMAD. So they're perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. We've moved from postpartum depression was the one that we focused on before, but now we know that there's actually a bunch of different disorders, and they can manifest in different ways. So depending on the results of that screen, we would probably refer to a mental health professional. But if it's something that we call baby blues, which is usually something that happens in the first 2 weeks, your mood is generally happy, but also you could be having some challenges and some fluctuations in mood. That is something that an occupational therapist can actually support. And so we kind of figure out, okay, are there different tools that the mom can use to kind of help with her mood regulation or maybe with her sensory regulation if the issue is that like she's feeling really overwhelmed. So we look at the latch, the positioning. We also look at her home environment. So are there things that she can do in her home that can actually make life easier? So maybe she can save energy by, instead of having one diaper station that's all the way in the bedroom that she's like going into to change her baby, maybe we can have one in the living room where she is most of the time, so that when she has to change her baby, she doesn't have to like schlep from room to room, because maybe that is just like too much for her. Maybe she's, like you said, sleep deprived. And so with the sleep, we do a lot of education on like the development of sleep for babies, how we can kind of take this knowledge and work it around the mom's schedule. And then that's also when the support system comes into play. So if she has a partner, for example, we would ideally have the partner there and kind of talk to them about, okay, how can we make sure that both of you are getting sleep so both of you can support this infant? Is there a way that we can sleep in shifts? Is it more a situation of how we're sleeping? Is there different things that we can do about the environment that can make it better for baby and mom? So it sounds like a lot of stuff, and it is a lot of stuff, but we're big picture people. So we try to look at everything in the picture to see like, okay, what is out of place here that we can tweak a little bit to get to the end goal of what mom wants. Because maybe mom is like, you know what, I don't care about my house. It can be super messy, but I just like want to make sure that I can exclusively breastfeed. So what are the little components that go into that help her with her end goal? And then once we do the evaluation and we kind of make a plan, then we would see her probably about once a week for usually 6 to 8 visits and see how far we can progress. And we might look at a little bit, one of those components, like, or several of those components for every visit. So we might like talk about sleep. We might talk about mental health. We might talk about breastfeeding, like in each session, and kind of work towards those end goals, if that makes sense.
That was really interesting. So if like a woman like just wants to exclusively breastfeed and she can't figure out a way around that, what are some other what are some other number one goals that women have that maybe I wouldn't have thought about? Like, I think there might be some women who are just like, I just need this house clean all the time. And if it's not clean, I feel crazy.
Yeah, for sure. The feeling crazy. Like, and the thing is that people can't necessarily articulate their goals very well, especially moms. I find that moms, especially in that like 4th trimester, very fresh postpartum phase, they don't say, hey, there's a problem here, I need help. They're just like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And so that's the hardest part about working with this population, is that we initially thought like, hey, we're going to go in and offer moms all of these tools to solve their problems, their pain, their discomfort, you know, their clutter, their sensory regulation. And moms, when we started talking to moms and like interacting with moms in the community, we realized like, oh my gosh, they're so in the thick of it that they don't even realize that A, they need help, or B, what they need help with. And so until there's like a pressing need. So the pressing need is usually like pain. So mom's having some sort of pain that's like stopping her from doing something. And usually it's related to like pregnancy or birth. So sometimes it's like a birth injury, or just like a little thing from pregnancy, or even like the positioning of her body when she's like breastfeeding or like interacting with her infant that is just like overwhelming. So pain is one. And then the big thing we've been seeing most recently is like feeding issues. My baby won't eat, or this is like something that I cannot tolerate. We had one mom who came to us because she was triple feeding around the clock for 6 weeks.
Whew.
And so that's not sustainable. It's like, that is like a pain point that is like, okay, I don't know what to do about this, but I can't do this any longer.
Meaning she had triplets.
So triple feeding is basically a strategy that you use to increase either weight gain in the infant to make sure that they're getting enough milk.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
Or supply. So it's pumping, breastfeeding, and bottle feeding all in the same feeding session.
Oh my God. But then also people who have more than one, like twins or.
Oh yeah, that's
plus.
basically, double, triple feeding. You could absolutely look at it that way.
I laugh because I always say like, I know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Like I know nothing. So like I go into these, I learn something new every day. I didn't know that was called triple feeding. I definitely, it resonates with me because my fourth trimester was really hard. And it was only because one of my friends is a perinatal therapist that I even like realized that I was having, PPA, like postpartum anxiety. Like there is no way without that person just talking to me on a regular basis, I would have been like, oh yeah, I probably need to go get some help.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And she probably saw something that you just had no idea. You were like so looking at all of the little the little things about like keeping this human alive that you probably didn't realize it. And I think that that's one of the huge things about having healthcare professionals involved in maternal health is that ideally you'd have a network of healthcare professionals all working together. And so in your situation, if you had an actual like diagnosable disorder, a mental health professional is going to be absolutely your best bet for getting better. And it's hard to do on your own. You like absolutely need that professional to help guide you through that.
You want to say hi to Jessica? Oh. I say this once in a while. Do you know what I feel like is the worst racket ever? This is a racket. Is that what other example do we have of a human going through major abdominal surgery, major surgery, and number one, not having PT or check-ins with their doctor more than once to get like staples out, and then you are systematically expected to take care of a human after. Let me tell you, if men were the ones giving birth, that would not be the case.
Oh my gosh, Carrie, I like
Zero
love
chance.
you so much for bringing
Zero
this
chance.
up. This is like a huge thing because I work in the hospital as an occupational therapist, and we get orders for like appendectomies. We'll go up there, patients like, and these are like laparoscopic, so they're like very small incisions, and they'll be moving around, they'll be fine. But it's good. I think it's good to have eyes on that patient to make sure that, they feel like they can go home and safely do the things that they need to do during the day. But mothers who have grown a baby, undergone a major abdominal surgery through like 9 layers, had that pulled out of them, and their inside shoved back inside, glued back shut. We are not only are we not laying eyes on these women, we're not teaching them how to get out of bed. I mean, even vaginal births mess everything up. And twisting and using your core to sit up or to do anything is impossible. We're not teaching women how to get out of bed, and we're not teaching them how to care for themselves and a newborn baby right out of the hospital. It's crazy. It is insane.
It's a racket. Like, period. End of sentence. It's terrible. And I keep on saying to myself every single time I have a conversation like this that, because I was a poli-sci major, so I kind of like, my brain goes that way. And I'm just like, oh my God, if I have the energy later in my life, I need to lobby for this. Like, I need to lobby for this for the insurance care to shift to a model that is more like other surgeries, that is like vaginal birth or C-section. Like, I broke my leg, and the like step by step in stone for every single person who has a fib tib fracture, the 1, 2, 3 that every single doctor does, it's so good. It's like, I can't tell you how many physical therapy sessions, more than 20. And like, no problem, here's your prescription, go and sign up, get your first. And it's just like, not questioned by the insurance company. It's not questioned by anybody because you broke your damn leg.
Right. Yeah. It's like, oh, having babies is expected of us. And oftentimes moms will go to their healthcare professionals or providers and say, hey, I'm having a problem. And they're like, oh, well, that's just pregnancy. That's just postpartum. and completely brush it off. I was talking to one mom who has had tailbone pain since her birth, and now her baby is 16 months old. She actually went to her OB and said, "Hey, I'm having a lot of pain. Can we do anything about this?" And the OB was like, "Well, that's just postpartum. You know, postpartum is uncomfortable." And so I think she asked for a pelvic floor therapy prescription, which exactly is what she should have done. But apparently, even that pelvic floor therapist turned her away, which is absolutely crazy. I told her to go back because she was where she needed to be. Um, Pelvic floor therapy is amazing and can do really amazing things, and they're actually trained in pregnancy and postpartum. And so that's absolutely every person who has had a birth, whether out of their wherever it comes out of, needs to have OT and PT right there in the hospital, and they need to have a pelvic floor not only follow up but follow through. And it can happen actually before that 6-week clearance. They just can't do exercises, but they can actually get like a before and after sort of picture. And then what we do, maternal health occupational therapy, that is also needed because we need to be supporting our moms and our family units, and giving them the tools to raise children.
Well, for example, like I had a friend who gave birth to twins and they were preemies because a lot of times that's what happens. And they were however many weeks early. So insurance automatically covered OT for her babies for a very long time and specific time frames. I'm sure you know this because this is your field, not mine. Like, there should be the same situation with pelvic floor therapy before and after the birth for every single birth in America, covered by insurance. Do you know anything about how these things get put into play?
Oh gosh, it's
like
so
because
yeah.
Like
Part of it is definitely politics, but the problem in this country is that we have private insurance companies. And so every insurance company has kind of separate policies about what they will and will not cover easily. And then all of that is like based on Medicare and Medicaid coverage because they kind of set the example for all the private insurance companies. And so lactation, for example, didn't used to be covered under insurance. And now slowly, I think it was the Affordable Care Act actually helped change that, where lactation is something that should be covered under insurance, but it's still not automatically covered. And so usually the lactation consultants will bill as out-of-network coverage. The patient pays cash for that service and then has to ask their insurance to reimburse them. And even now, sometimes that's not happening. And so it's, yeah, I mean, what you're describing, like just automatic blanket coverage would be amazing and should be that way and is that way in other countries.
Well, I know that I talked to Dr. Janae, who comes on the podcast every once in a while. She said because of the ACA, we also have covered IUDs.
Yes.
And that wasn't the case before that. So basically, we are talking about legislation and lobbying. That's what that is. And I don't know, you guys. I am like, it seems like you're doing the same. Like I am very. You're part Asian?
I am. I'm half Chinese.
Okay. I feel your vibes coming through the Zoom, by the way.
Asian vibes. Yes. And my
more specifically, the Chinese vibes. I always feel it because a lot of people are like this, but most of the Chinese women I know are just thinking like 18 years ahead of where they are. Like whether that's a good or a bad thing, it's not necessarily, the jury's still out on if that's positive or negative. But now that I'm not like obsessed with performing anymore, I'm like thinking about what I should be doing with my valuable time. You know, this resource of time is our most valuable commodity. And I like, because I was going to go into politics, and sometimes it's not a regret because I don't think I would have done it differently. But like, I get sad that I didn't have my multiverse life.
Yes.
Do you ever have that? I don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like, oh my gosh, there are so many things that I could be doing. Yeah, I absolutely get that. Especially starting this business, you know, we kind of zoomed in on the population that we want to help, but then there's so many ways to do that. And it's really, really hard to be like, okay, because yes, your time is finite and your mental capacity is finite.
Yes, and you have kids.
Yes, and you have kids. So yes, and but yes, we need people in politics that will help push these things forward, because it's all about who you know, who you're talking to, and when, and what kind of money and effect that you have.
Resources that you have. Yeah. I feel like also this is coming up a lot, like the women question. It's like it almost feels like, and I don't want to say it is because everybody's experience is different, but generally like, oh, you're a woman, so it's just like not important because you are expected to hold the world up with your shoulders anyway.
Right.
And
yep. Well, and so much of politics, so much of medicine, so much of design, all of that stuff is based on a very small population of people, usually white males of a certain socioeconomic status. And so,
yeah, white cis males in a particular social and economic situation. And, you know, just the situation in America where because of so much that's going on, there are going to be more forced births that happen. Women are going to die because of these laws that are putting into place. So, you know, you and I are talking about like getting PT like covered by insurance, and really our country's going in the opposite direction, complete opposite direction, where we're not even valued over a petri dish anymore.
Yep. And I live in the state of Texas. And so we're going to see it so much more as time goes on. And yeah, and not only if we even talk about the maternal health outcomes that are like deaths and injuries, just having the moms who end up having children that they did not plan for or cannot accommodate or did not want to accommodate at that time, and having to raise those children, because we know how difficult it is and what's that going to do to mom's mental health and resources.
Yep. And the economic side of it, where you know, it's not like the men who impregnate these women are necessarily going to get the bill.
Exactly.
For all this stuff. You know, I live in California I don't even just live in California. I live in the thick of the Valley, LA. Like I'm in blue bubble, neon blue. Neon blue bubble. I'm also very an empathetic person. I'm from Ohio, and I, you know, was raised in a different place, and I don't just have a mentality of neon blue California. What is it like being there in Texas, working in the perinatal field with all that going on, with the different vibes? Like, is it as disastrous as I imagine, or?
So I live in Austin, and Austin is its own little blue bubble within Texas. And so I feel like in Austin, we're like a little bit, I don't want to say not as affected, but I think day to day, I'm not thinking about it as much as if I was in another part of Texas. But as a maternal health and perinatal provider, I absolutely have to think about how that's going to affect my clientele and my community. Yeah, we're going to be coming up against some challenges for sure, and figuring out the best way to support that is going to be really tough. Yeah, for sure.
How often are the underlying problems in the household with the environment like a misogynistic problem?
That's a really good question. I mean, I feel like the population that we work with personally, like our business, we don't see that as much with this particular generation, with the particular clients that we're working with. And the reason that I'm saying that is because most of the clients that we're working with actually, like, they're living in Austin. A lot of them are move here away from their families. So because of jobs or quality of life. And so they don't necessarily even have those like family support systems. And a lot of them are older moms that have started families after careers. So I don't see that as much in this generation. But what I see a lot is the effects that it has had on like our parents' generation, and how we are trying to parent in a way that kind of gets away from that, and what that does to sort of the family dynamics and support systems.
That makes sense. Like there isn't like the same mindset of between the generations. So the grandparents don't necessarily agree with what the mom's doing or how the couple decides to parent.
Yeah. And then how are you going to, do you, like, if your parents have these sorts of ideals and upbringing, one, do you want them at the birth? Do you want them after the birth? What happens if they do live in town, or you go and visit them and you're trying to parent differently? I think that that's like really a challenge that a lot of the moms and families that we work with do kind of face and have to think about.
Yeah, and also if the kids that are being born are mostly millennials right now, right? That's the generation. And so that means their parents are older Gen X, right? Or young boomers. That's the calculation I'm making.
Yeah, young boomers for sure. Yeah, young boomers, or just like boomers.
Yes.
Especially with older parents. I mean, some parents are,
40
in their early 40s. Yeah.
And then their parents are boomers, and such a different generation. So relevant, Jessica. All of it.
We went all sorts of places.
No, it's so good. Oh my God. Can I tell you how lit up I am about this podcast right now? Like, it's just so inspiring. Like every single episode that I record, I just want to release it the next day because I'm so excited. But then I can't do that because I said that about a podcast that was recorded 3 weeks ago, so I can't do that.
Hey, you got to balance that. The occupational therapist on the other side of your screen supports balance.
Like I'm so
not that there's any such thing. There's no such thing as balance. It's all, if we can go back to the circus analogy, it's all juggling. What has to go up in the air so that you can hold this other thing for 1 second to throw it up the air?
Yes. I feel like through these conversations, we as a community in this podcast are like tapping into like the soul and the meat of the problem. Yes, we might be mothers. Yes, we might be aerialists, and that's the thing that we have in common. But it's like everything touches us. Like all these things are relevant. All of it is relevant. And yeah, I'm super pumped because it's what I dreamed for it to be. And it's happening.
amazing.
It's exciting.
It's amazing. I have learned so much from your podcast. And yeah.
And I learned something every day, like triple feeding. Did not know that was called triple feeding. And I did not do that. I had other problems. My bean wouldn't sleep to the point where either my pediatrician remembers every fact about every one of her babies, or my baby was especially bad because we brought her in the other day because she has a deep cough, and our pediatrician's like, oh, the baby who wouldn't sleep. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Well, okay. Question. What was she breastfeeding?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a whole nother thing, because when we look at these like sleep norms for babies, you have to think about what generation those norms were and what the feeding source and practice of those babies were. And if we look at it, a lot of them are formula fed. And so
formula fed babies would sleep a little bit better.
They sleep differently. The whole mechanics of that is different than when you have a dyad, which is a mother or whoever is feeding the baby, and a baby literally connected together, and their physiology is in tandem. And so that is for feeding and for sleep, and there's all this hormone shifts going on. And so it's a whole nother animal when you're talking about sleep in a breastfeeding dyad.
Yeah, it was, what you just said, very scientifically and very smart. And I'll just say, yes, very interesting. I still won't forget it because it was like last night, I think I got barely 8 hours, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I could get that extra 20 minutes. It's like, I think back to like when she was younger, and if I could piece together 8 hours in 3 days, I was really lucky, right? And so I'm just like,
oh gosh, yeah.
Now I'm like if she ever goes through another sleep regression, I can be like, how the fuck did I do this? Because I can't even do it for one night now. I mean, I did it for 3 months that I was gonna lost my mind, actually think I lost my mind. But Jessica, this was amazing. I'm so happy you reached out.
Great. I love it.
And for you listeners out there,
thank you so much for taking me up on it.
Yes, please reach out to me, because the fact that I'm able to find a lot of you guys on that amazing Facebook group is amazing, but there's only so much I can find. If you're on the group but you don't actually interact with Facebook very much, because Facebook is a cesspool of a lot of crap now, and I don't really go on there all that much anymore. So please reach out to me. Carrie at wrapyourheadaroundsilks.com. I am the only person who checks my email, because this is a one-woman operation. One woman. So, Jessica, this was a blast. I'm really excited.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a great day. Talk to you soon.
You too. Bye, Carrie.
Oh my goodness, Jessica, I had so much fun talking to you. We have friends in common. Man, I feel like all of my guests, we just connect so effortlessly because of what we have in common. So it was great to talk to you. Badass mama, killing it, doing all the things. I'm very impressed. Very, very impressed. Listeners, you guys, roll it out. There's a 14-day free trial, and you can cancel it anytime. It's a subscription, $19 a month, which if you think about it, I teach 8 classes a month. You can get 8 role classes from the comfort of your own home for $19. It's kind of ridiculous, but I decided it actually does make sense. So you guys, just come join us. And if it doesn't work for your schedule or it doesn't work for your lifestyle, in the first 2 weeks, you can always cancel. No questions asked. Too much talking, Bean. All right, guys. And then also check out the website. There's lots of free resources for you. And then Greener Grass, which is my other podcast. If you want to get into other worldly topics. Hey, why? Because you want to go to lunch? What are we going to eat today? Can you tell the listeners? We're going to have noodles. We're going to go get pho. Yeah, yummy. Greener Grass, if you just want to hear the sound of my voice. It's fun. It's really fun. All right, guys. Please honor me with a 5-star rating and review.
I have that there.
What do you mean? That's always been there. That's my hard drive. She really wants to talk to you guys today. What do you want to say to the listeners, Bean? We have to brush your hair too because your hair is all tangly. All right, my friends. This outro is lasting forever because I'm just trying to get the words out. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Over and out. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Slugs. This is Inspector Ariel's podcast with Peterson Podcast. I did it. We did it. You want to say goodbye? Oh.